Welcome to Building Bridges, New Jersey's SEPAG Voices. In this video series, we'll be highlighting special education parent advisory groups, SEPAGs, throughout New Jersey. Join us as we interview dedicated parent leaders from various school districts, exploring their experiences, motivations for involvement, and the impact they strive to create. Together, we'll uncover the vital role of parents in shaping educational experiences for students with disabilities. Our mission is to empower families and improve educational outcomes for students with disabilities. We provide essential programs and services to support special education parent advisory groups, SEPAGs, within communities and school districts. Our initiatives include workshops and trainings to inform parents as active participants in their child's education, partnering with educators to enhance educational programs in inclusion, assisting communities in starting or strengthening parent advisory groups and support networks. Today, we are excited to introduce our very first district, East Orange SEPAG, featuring two dedicated members, Ingrid and Danna.
They had a district-wide SEPAC here in East Orange that was being led by staff members. It was virtual. I was really excited to finally, for the first time, connect with other parents that had children with special needs within the district, but I couldn't figure out how to connect with those folks. And so in the chat, because it was on Zoom, I started just like putting my information out there or, chatting directly to folks who were in the meeting. 2 months later, when they had the first in-person meeting, I was gonna go and I said, what can I do to like make sure I connect with people this time, since it's gonna be in person, maybe something will be different. And so I prayed about it and I just printed out like a sign-in page just in case other parents were there, because I didn't know who was gonna turn out, and it turned out to work and be a lot of folks, including Ingrid, who I already knew, and who also like just stood up and said, I'm gonna jump in as well.
Yeah. So I was new to like just the parent end of the district. Ran Danna down in the parking lot one day. And I was like, are you like having trouble like contacting and connecting, with this, sped department on behalf of your son? I just don't feel like I am the only one that's having this problem. Yeah. And she's like, girl, and I'm like, okay, great. Like, because I thought it was just me. Like, I wanted to ask like how you navigate the system. Mm-hmm. And so there was a call to action, I think in March or April of last school year, still 2024. And SPAN was hosting it. And the topic was like how you create like a parent-led SEPAC. And it was like a room full of parents. They were looking for volunteers, and I'm the type of person where if I'm going to bring an issue, I try to bring a solution at the same time. Like, this is not great, but maybe we could do this. So then we ended up kind of gathering and meeting and working with Beth, and here we are.
Yeah, we had a few like fast-led meetings in a very short span of time. And I will say that first meeting with Beth, like, not just with us two, but the one where she actually led and talked about what a CPAC actually is, it was so eye-opening. And hopefully everyone in the room felt that way. But, she really broke down like what a CPAC can do and how ideally they can work with the district. It's just been really hard to like find community, and now I think what we're building with the CPAC hopefully feels that way for folks, because it certainly feels that way for me. Like, I've found a community of parents who really care about what's happening around special education in this district. It's been like life-changing.
Yeah, some of these things my son may not even benefit from, at the age or stage when I needed it, only because, time, right? Like, it takes time to make some larger systemic changes. Just to know that there might be another Ingrid and another Danna. Mm-hmm. So hopefully our advocacy and just ultimately just doing the right thing. So if another parent can benefit that from, our bumps and bruises through this, then I think at that point it would be like worth it, even if it's just one, in my opinion. Like, even if it's just one mom that has to do a little less fighting than we did, then I measure that as success.
As much as we know that every parent in the room is coming for their own individual child, but trying to think of like, what is the collective issues within your community, and we lead with that. I think if it's just one parent, again, that is a hurdle, but you all gave such clear direction and guidance and references in terms of like documents, and this is what you can do to start. I felt okay. Like I'm so thankful for like the partnership and the friendship I found in Ingrid. But I think even if like individually each one of us had just met with Beth, I think we still would have been able to receive enough information to like go forward. I don't know if there's any like one formula, but if they can just be open-minded to getting guidance from you all, I think that partnering with SPAN would lead them to at least getting it off the ground.
We all do whatever we do like in our professional lives. So sometimes we think we know it all, but SPAN knows this space.
Yes.
And I was very thankful. Like I had to just take a posture of knowing I don't know what to do here. And just being able to speak with Beth, come to the presentation, follow her, initial startup directions without like straying from it at all. But like, I think allowed us to present strongly. And we probably wouldn't even have presented it this well if like we would have negated from her guidance. Use SPAN as the resource. You would have a strong foundation and start if you just kind of followed the well curated SPAN process that they have.
We started 1 month before the end of the school year. So if there is a parent out there that's like, well, we gotta wait until next school, you do not. Just like there's no time like the present. We do not profess to be like a changers for everything that's happening. We don't come to the meetings, saying we'll be like social workers and take everything on. We're not the coordinators. It's like, how do we fit this into the larger issue? Or how do we at least get you a connection to know who is your coordinator? How is this person working on your child's case? Or what is it that you aren't feeling throughout the month? And what are you not being heard on? Or what's happening where maybe you aren't being seen?
In the spring, when we resume back we tackled kind of IEPs and what happens when you don't meet them. That was like the initial need from what we were hearing from our collective of parents when we surveyed them. Our second most, needed resource is around transitioning. So we're going to be focused there when we come back in spring. So we're planning a transition fair. We also are looking to have like estate planning come in. So just giving parents those tools to be able to set up a great vision for their future.
Also looking into like a respite service to come in, talk to parents.
If you are going to take on the SEPAC, like you don't have to come up with a whole meeting, all the time. Invite the community, and a lot of times the community partners want to come in and talk about their services and the resources that they provide to the parents. So it becomes a perfect fit.
Also, try to collect a lot of like data. We put out a survey in the beginning when the SEPAC first started, and we still try to uplift that. And through that, we try to keep an email list, and we've been able to go beyond just the two of us. So we have 9 members, on our official executive board now, who have all committed to a 2-year term for this school year and next school year.
We go to the board meetings. We address the board on behalf of special services so that our voice doesn't get lost as parents. Like you might see me as the parent, but my voice is really my son's voice. So if I'm not here looking for anything for myself, I'm never going to let anyone forget that.
Here in my building, I have 2 council members out in my building. I put flyers up everywhere in the laundry room. I walk the length of my block, emailing them to the schools yourself. It will take a little work to kind of get that spreadsheet going and keep that contact. But once those folks are hearing from you, it could be anything. It could be a church, a mosque. Reach out, because within your neighborhood, in your community, there are probably children there whose parents are in need of help and don't know that you all exist. If you're trying to gain that kind of community, find it anywhere that you think folks are hanging out in your area.
Right, and I think as special needs parents, sometimes we suffer in silence. But like what I've learned through this experience is like, you're not the only one. You're not the only one, but somebody has to start. And no one's really qualified to do it. Like it's just what qualifies you is that you have the need and the passion and like you want to do it. If I can leave anything with someone going to start or thinking about it is there's no perfection found. So just start it. You can figure it out as you go. I also think nothing changes, and sometimes you have to be the change. For me, I was like, well, if I don't do it for him, who will? Sometimes it is all of those things, because I'm tired too. Like, my son has meltdowns too. Like, we have private and school therapies too, so I'm in the car a lot. But then, for me personally, it's like, then my complaints only go but so far. If I'm not willing to make some sacrifice, because it's like, at the end of the day, your kids need it to happen a little bit more than we actually need it to happen. So I always just have to keep at the forefront of my mind that it is for my child, and my child deserves to take up space in this world. And this world is really not designed to give him the space that he needs. So I am going to have to make sure, as long as I'm here, that there is space for him.
I can feel the change. And one thing that SEPAC does is it gives me a little bit more insider knowledge to know that change is coming, and like helps the other part of, the mom in me that shows up to like calm down, because I can see it on the horizon, not only because I'm fighting for it alongside all of my colleagues, but I see it at the board meetings. I'm hearing it in the atmosphere that parents are starting to get the things that they really need here. And so it helps me to like hold back and have a little faith on the other end. Yeah. To any parent, I always want to tell them to be encouraged. I know we hear it time and time again that you are your child's biggest advocate, but you really are. You are your child's safe space. They are looking to you for everything. And even when we don't have the answers, most times, we try to figure it out as parents. I think that if you're in a moment where you're thinking about getting involved, or you're thinking about, having those deeper conversations as it pertains to your school district, be encouraged. Start exactly where you are. It's okay to say, I don't have all the answers, and it's totally okay to say, I'm interested in going forward. It would be great if you have another parent that smiles at you, or you run into at a therapy session, or when you're, putting your child's coat on. Maybe that's the one parent, just like Ingrid and I connected, that you're gonna like figure it out together. And even without that, I think that, you can do it on your own. You're okay. SPAN is certainly here to help, and be encouraged to get going. Like, don't hold back. You got it.
Sometimes the change that you want to see is you. You're more powerful than you probably know or give yourself credit for. And your passion and care and concern for your children can lead to creating even just the smallest difference. Even the smallest motion gets you further than where you are right at this moment. So if you find yourself at a moment, even of frustration, or feeling like a little hopeless, or that this is hard for you, or the district is hard for you, then start moving in a direction where you like in the direction towards change that you want to see. Do it. Because there's probably someone else looking for whatever solution it is that you have, and they're afraid to start too. So be afraid together. This is how this works for us. We were all afraid together, and sometimes being afraid together leads you to just amazing things, and amazing friendships.
So. Now we have literally 9 other parents that are like teamed up. They're committed. It is so great. I mean, we all have different lived experiences, different personalities. Our children range in different ages, right? We have everyone from like preschool to high school. And so we're able to like find that support. And so I just hope that whatever parent out there is thinking about it, you also find your community.
Yes.